Welcome aboard to podcast 19 in the series of the Voyage to Back Yonder. This episode, I was prompted to share some of my observations of my own voyage this week. In one of my morning coffee reflection moments, a thought kind of dropped into my brain. It's stated, when we focus on the divine within us, we spark a realization of who we really are. And that is when miracles happen. That is when there is a shift in the physical realm. Because this world is all made up of tiny particles of unconditional love energy, when we connect with the divine within ourselves, we become aware of what reality really is. And then a shift begins to happen. The fear and darkness begin to transform. We become aware that we are bright beings of light and unconditional love. And when we see our brightness, fear and darkness cannot exist within or near us. So they either convert to their true form of unconditional love energy, or they have to leave and go somewhere else if they want to retain their dark form. And as I wrote these thoughts into my journal, I received a text from a friend with a picture of a quote, and it said, "The universe is asking, show me your new vibration. I will show you miracles." What? So the vibration of the divine, the vibration of unconditional love equals miracles. Got it. Then my eyes drifted to my email inbox, and it had an email in there announcing a new song from an artist that I follow, and I hadn't listened to it yet. I've been sitting there a few days, but I was suddenly urged to click on the link to listen to the new song that was called Roots. And it's by, I think is how you pronounce it, is Estes Tone. And it was also featuring Zola Dubnikova or something like that. Probably murdered their names. But the beginning lyrics are, "It is our responsibility to dance, to embody the essence of our true divinity. In our souls, we are all dancers, healers, singers, and creators. We all have something powerful to say, to give." Shut up. More confirmation. Just love it. And then I returned to continue writing in my journal, but my journal had closed. A lot of the pages lost my place in there, but the page that my journal was open to was now an entry from April of 2018. And that's when I was actually, the day I was packing up to move to northern Idaho. I had pulled a card from the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck. So after reading the beginning lyrics of Roots, the song, I read in my journal right there on that day, "You do not have to live in a story that has roots in the past." What if there were no need to explain you to anyone, not even to yourself? The way to your most extraordinary life is to become a blank slate and allow the form of your dream and desires to show up, as it will. This is a sign of manifesting a life beyond your wildest dreams. Wow. Because the entry mentioned roots in it, that prompted me to look back at the lyrics to the song Roots that I had only looked at the beginning lyrics of. My eyes were drawn to the ending of the song. "Dear beings across time and worlds, it is time for us all to return to the temple. Not the temple of gods, prophets, deities, and laws, but the temple of all humanity, the temple of the heart. It is our responsibility to see beyond the stories and to manifest change. And this journey begins within each of us, each woman and each man. It is time to remember. You know, I do love how when we can become quiet and listen to the promptings of the whispers of love, we can receive such clear messages and have them reinforced by other sources all around us that they point us to. So if we can shut up the fear voices in our head, we can hear the love whispers so distinctly. So for this podcast, roots seem to be the focus. The root of our emotions, the root of our stories. Unconditional love floods all emotions. Sadness is just a facade. Look deeper, and you will find unconditional love under the crust, under the surface. It's the source of all things. Sadness allows us to somewhat define unconditional love because we see what it is not. And then we can understand and feel more of what unconditional love is. Every emotion is our path back to unconditional love. We can look deeper and find it. Our fear ego is attracted to what it thinks it's missing. Our conditional love kicks in with attraction and desire, trying to meet the requirements of what our fear ego thinks it needs to be lovable. Let me say that again because it's one of the most powerful keys to our life. Our fear ego is driven to try to meet the requirements it thinks it needs to be lovable. It fears not being whole without it and can become obsessed with obtaining that external thing with the intention to be complete, whole, lovable, acceptable. And if we aren't able to obtain that thing or that person or situation, we desperately seek other forms to replace it. And if we happen to be able to obtain it for a moment, we'll continually fear losing it. It feels uncomfortable to be out of control. And if we do obtain it and then lose it, we're devastated and fear we're worthless, that we're worth less. And we'll begin our desperate search to replace that thing with something else of the outside world we think will complete us. One way this appeared in my life was serial monogamy. So my fear ego told me that I was supposed to have a partner in my life to show love to and to receive love from. You know, it's what humans do. It's funny, I read in the book, The Course in Miracles, that relationships are designed to teach us unconditional love and patience. So true. So true. And I also have discovered that, you know, each relationship was a perfect mirror for me. They all kept pointing me back to myself. Whenever I reached out to have someone give me the self-respect and unconditional love that I was seeking, they kept reminding me that I could only find that in my own heart. I was asking them for something that I had, instructed them not to give me. I told them before we came down here to keep showing me what I wanted to see about myself until I saw it. And they did such a good job of that. Over and over again, they kept treating me how I felt about myself. I didn't respect myself and kept trying to give up my life for them, which is majorly disrespecting me. Because I didn't see myself as worthy of my own respect at the time, they mirrored that back for me, betraying my trust, speaking down to me, using me. What a glorious day it was when I discovered that it was I that was betraying my own trust and sacrificing my own self-love to try to get external love. It was I that was speaking down to myself, telling myself all sorts of fun lies about my worth. I was spending my worthiness on an experience of victimhood and depression and sadness, resentment and anger. I got my money's worth, I tell you. We all do. I kind of discovered that we humans don't do anything halfway. We go all in with this life, and we don't waste a moment of this precious voyage. And every second we're experiencing, and if that second isn't of unconditional love, then it's full-on fear experiences. And we eat that up like cotton candy until we've had our fill and grow tired of the taste of extreme sugar. Then we're ready. We're ready to sit quietly for a moment and reflect upon the experience of fear sitting right up against unconditional love. I can still remember the day after my 5th longish-term relationship ended. I had discovered that I no longer felt needy. I didn't feel that desperation to be with someone or search for someone to complete me. I was suddenly enjoying my alone time. I could sit in my bedroom all by myself and just enjoy being, loving myself unconditionally. My focus for my life changed from one of all these external things to focusing on looking at my internal world. And it was like walking out of a dark cave that opened up into a huge, bright valley full of beauty and new adventures. And that is what lies at the root of every uncomfortable feeling. If we so desire, we can take the passage to the root of the emotion to uncover the beautiful truth that we are unconditionally loved by the Creator of all things. We can feel the unconditional love energy that is all around us and inside us. And we remember that it is us. We are unconditional love. We will choose that passage when we are ready and never earlier. Everything unfolds perfectly on time. Always. Till next episode, take some deep breaths. Do you feel like you're surrounded by darkness? Take some more deep breaths. Close your eyes. Do you see the slight glow in the distance? Do you sense that cave exit? Do you hear the bright valley calling you to a new adventure? Take some more deep breaths. Know that at the root of your uncomfortable emotions of fear is not more fear, but peace and unconditional love. Our fear is the dragon in this cave. And if we want to wrestle with that dragon some more, then more power to you, my friend. It's all about the experience, and there is no wrong choice. But if you have grown tired of being scorched by the fire-breathing dragon of fear, you can begin a new journey today. Just take one step, then another, and then another. Breathe in and breathe out. When you decide the direction you want to go, a mighty force of unconditional love will light the way for you. That is our power of free will. Whatever we intend and choose for ourselves, the unseen workers begin to aid us in that path. It's all a giant movie, and they'll do whatever it is we want to experience here because it isn't real and no one really gets killed off. It's theater. Only the character dies in the movie, not the actress. And hey, you never know. They might come back in the sequel somehow. But even if they don't, the actress goes on living forever as the mighty, powerful, supernatural spirit being that they are, sailing on the mighty sea of unconditional love. You get to decide what your movie will look like in this moment. How exciting. Enjoy your voyage. I love you.